So as we drive along this road, I'll tell you a little bit about what's going on in the area. Pretty much everything that you see is 8 years old or younger. So it's a really early stage operation. It's got a long way to go. Obviously, farming is not a sprint, it is a marathon. So, you know, at the early stages, everything is difficult. And then as the trees get a little older, the soil gets a little bit more aged and healthier, everything gets easier and easier and easier. Usually around year 10, things start to get a lot more consistent. If you'll notice off in the distance, what a spectacular sight. I mean, you have the canyons and waterfalls that I'll take you to today. Just absolutely incredible. Most of the land that is along this road is simply natural farms. So, except for this particular parcel here that's owned by the government, and same on this side, they have about 900 hectares of land, primarily used for rice, and they feed the impoverished of Panama. You know, the business of farming has really changed pretty dramatically over the years, and a prime example, because of the free trade agreements between Panama and the rest of the world, it's basically put crops like sugarcane and rice out of business. Those companies are pretty much going out of business in Panama because you just can't compete on a large scale internationally with a commodity type crop. So sugarcane and rice, you can pretty much have it delivered, already processed in Panama for consumption, cheaper than what it would cost you to actually go through the labor process and time constraints to grow it here. If you look off there in the distance, you'll start seeing the beginnings of the continental divide. Those mountains are extremely important to us. We basically, in looking for land, of course we're looking for water, but we're also looking for protection. And in this particular finca or farm area, we're surrounded on 3 sides pretty much by mountain top. And that stops the clouds from coming in from the real tropical Caribbean skies. And so it stops there, it rains over these mountains, and then it runs into the 16 rivers in this case, and then runs down into Rio Grande. So we're able to get the water, but without the rainfall right on the head of the trees, which would knock off the flowers and cause very severe damage. Listen, you know, it's not perfect, farming's not perfect, but what you want to do when you're running a large operation like this is try and mitigate a lot of the risk. And so that's what we attempted to do here. I think we've done a pretty good job. And again, I'm going to show you a lot more of that today. If you look over here and you see all of this beautiful, lush, breathtaking land, you envision that maybe it's been like this, you know, forever, since the dinosaur, and it pretty much has. But what's interesting about these properties that you look around and see is that not 600 years ago, there were about 700,000 Indians living here. This is pre-Columbia. So pre-Columbia, you had 700, 800,000 Indians living here. So this was a full, bustling community of chiefs and trade and barter. Actually, if you look on the front cover of National Geographic from about 3 years ago, it'll say the most important archaeological find in Central American history, El Caño. So that's where we are right this minute. Right where we sit, there was probably trade of pottery and gold and jewelry happening right around us, and you know, a bustling community. So, you know, look, times change, and that disappeared, but now it was converted to jungle, and now we are converting it back to a very prosperous and productive environment.